Whose internet are you on?
Mine. Before anybody shows up, and I don't know if he's even watching anymore, I want to say shout out to Sims 50. I haven't heard from you in a while. Mute your thing. I haven't heard from you in a while. Hopefully everything's going good up there and where you live. I'm not going to say where you live, but I'm waiting to see that ticker tick up to say anybody's watching. Nobody's watching. That's okay.
It went up too.
Oh, there's 2 people watching. Hey, Seth, how's it going? So, are you ready to do our intro?
You can.
It could be. It might be. It is. It's the Dustin and Cassie show, starring Dustin and
Deaf lady.
Cassie. Def Leopard.
It's loud.
Sorry. Can you hear us okay? We've got a little bit different setup here, so we're a little bit further away from our microphone, but I'm always about to leave. Are you about to hit the road? Heading to work?
Let us know. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah, great. Awesome, okay, cool. Good. Are you getting ready to head to work, or are you just getting off the internet for the night? It's taking too long to type. You're a slow typer. He's probably be like, I could just Marco Polo you faster. It says there's 2 people watching. I don't know who the other person is.
I don't know.
Stalkers. Oh, she pinched my thigh. No, wait, that was my cat.
I did not pinch your thigh.
That's Adam.
Nope. Down. Whatever.
Cassie said we should set up in the kitchen and point into the living room and see how long before somebody says something about where's the bug at. I'm like, there's a lot more that's changed in the living room other than just the bug. I don't know if they'd even notice that. But Adam, I am so glad you said that. Hey, Samson and Tara.
38 more days.
Did you send her a message this morning?
I think so.
She's doing a countdown to the start of Sukkot. So
I'm doing a countdown until I can hug her.
Oh, okay.
I don't care about Sukkot.
You don't care about Sukkot?
Well, I do, but you know.
So we haven't been here in 2.5 months. I went and looked it up. It was June 14th last time we did a show. A crap ton has happened. Just Tara Sampson is working at 10 o'clock at night. Dang. But a lot has happened. I shouldn't say a crap ton because that's a lot of great stuff has happened. I wish I was gonna try to find my external webcam so I could actually pick it up and just zoom around, but couldn't locate it before we started the show. So can't do that. Sorry. Might do another video. Do you want to kind of go into things? Or...
So,
Stop saying
as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, snap.
I get after her on her MTHFR and me videos because she says I'm a lot. Hey, Josh.
So, I was going to do we could do like a short little thing and then I could show, sort of, maybe. Okay, I'm going to give you 10 seconds of
10
video. Oh, I should have done it the other way. Oh, well. So this is what we have done, or we've had done. So the house looks completely different inside. So we had our annual 4th of July get together. And we had 194 people here. Totally crazy. So
thanks, Lauren.
So we had a couple families that came for the 4th of July and stayed here. They're moving here, so they've stayed here. And one of the families, the Rafflers, they asked Dustin, hey, is there anything that we could do to help do some stuff or get some stuff done in the house since he's gone all the time? And
any like construction projects?
Yeah, any construction projects.
Since I only have like 1 day a week to try to get anything done. So they
asked, and Dustin's like, yeah, sure, and told him a couple things. And so,
which was the
fireplace.
Getting the fireplace.
So
removed.
On this wall, we had
actually literally right here. We're sitting right below where the fireplace was.
We had a cabinet, and then the fireplace, and then another cabinet, and TV stand, or TV entertainment center. And so, and so they took out everything on this wall. And then he's like, oh, by the way, the wall that separates the kitchen and living room doesn't really do anything, and we could totally take that wall down.
Because we were told initially that it was a shear wall, that it was created shear support from that wall of that house to this side of this house. So if there was a strong wind on that side, it would literally have to push the whole house in order to move because they tied the two walls together. But once they took that stuff off, they're like, it's not a shear wall, so that whole thing could come down, no big deal.
And so there was 2 doors, and then there was a door on
2 doorways.
Yeah, there was 2 doorways. And then there was like a little pantry, and then a wall and
with a cabinet
and stuff.
And then an entry wall, like when you first walked in our front door, there was been a wall right in front of you, like 5 feet from the door, and that's where our coat rack was and our shoe rack.
Actually, I have pictures.
But so they said, hey, we can take all that stuff out. It doesn't affect anything. And they're like, so do you guys want us to do that? And we were like, yeah, let's do it. So they started into that as well. Hey, Lance, it's been going good. We're just talking about all the renovating that was done.
So this is what it looked like in the living room.
I should here. I wonder if I can do this.
I can do it this way. Yeah. Okay. So this is what it looked like.
And wrong way. Hang on.
So there was a door that's into the kitchen. That was the front door.
So now look at my phone. You can see the difference now. I'm showing you that same view, and all you can see is the table.
Yep.
So there's that little half wall right there they built, and then that half wall. Oh, you can't see over the TV. My bad. Sorry.
So, anyways,
I should have got the external camera.
They took out that wall, and let me tell you, it opened it all up. The living room looks twice as big, and it feels twice as big, and so it's really nice. Well, when they took out the fireplace, they pulled some of the carpet up, and there was a little bit of water damage underneath there. We didn't know if there was more, and there was
that mold. Was from the previous owners. Like it was actually underneath where the one cabinet was.
Yeah,
they'd had water damage, and they'd replaced the subflooring with plywood. Yeah, plywood sheet. So there was a little bit of a dip. So like, hey, we could take care of that while we're.
So, but there was water damage and there was mold, and so we didn't know how much under the carpet it was, and so we're like, let's just pull all the carpet up and we'll figure it out. And so all the carpet in the living room got pulled up, and it actually was only that spot that had any damage that we had to replace. So then our friend that was painting for us, he said, I can just paint the floor until you guys can do the floor. And so, because I want to do the whole house at once when it comes to the floor so that I have everything and I'm not doing little bits and pieces at a time, because I feel like knowing the way that it goes for us, we'll end up picking a floor that we really like through the whole house, and then we'll just get it when we can afford it, and then it'll be discontinued, and we'll be stuck with a different floor.
So we want to have the same flooring from this wall in the. You want to do it in our bedroom too?
Yeah, I want the whole house.
Basically from one end of the house to the other than Eli's room, because we already did hit the flooring in his room, but from the one end of the house to the other, have the same type of flooring through the whole house.
Yep, and so that's the plan. So he painted the floor this last weekend.
And he used like an epoxy paint, almost kind of like what you would use on a garage floor if you were going to paint a garage floor. It's got an epoxy, so it hardens up. So he used that on the floor.
And then he took out all the stupid strips on the walls.
Actually, this wall is all brand new drywall. They took all the drywall.
Hi,
they took all the drywall off this wall because behind the fireplace was kind of messed up, nasty looking because it was hidden by the wall that made the fireplace.
So, but then on all of the walls, they took out all of the strips, and Scott did a really good job. It looks completely different. And then, so it started out as just this wall, and then they said, "Oh, we can take out this wall," and I was like, "Please." And then they took out that wall, and then the whole carpet got pulled. And
then when the pantry came out, they were like, "Hey, we can build you a new pantry over in the corner of your kitchen."
And so,
okay,
I'm like, okay, and then y'all, it was super stressful only because I'm not used to having so many choices. And they're like, "What do you want?" And Dustin's like, "Look, it's your house, it's your domain." He's like, "The inside of the house is yours. You can do what you want, have what you want, and so you need to decide." Amy. And I'm just like, I'm done with decisions. I'm done. Like, I had to pick colors. It was so hard to pick color for the kitchen. We're not done with we still have to paint the kitchen, but we at least have the color picked out, and we have all that. So we just will, eventually work our way in there. And so there's still a few things that need to be done. Like, there's a little bit of trim that needs to be finished, and a separator from the living room into the kitchen.
Because the other thing it is, they stripped all the popcorn off of the ceiling in here, so it's all flat now. So, but there's popcorn in the kitchen. They also redid all the lighting in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Like, I was like, I was sitting here and I was talking to Eli, and I said, it'd be really nice to like have the lights that go into the ceiling, which I didn't know what they were called at that time. I'm like,
the
ones that, but I didn't know that at the time. And I said, the ones that go on the ceiling, I said, it'd be really nice to have those. And I said, but I know it will be expensive and it will just create more work. And I don't want to create more work for them. They're all doing so good. And I just didn't want to give them more work. And Scott looks over at me. He's like, "It's actually not that hard and it's not that expensive." And I was like, okay.
Cool. Because before in the living room, we had the two lights that shined on the fireplace, and we had the lights in the fan, and that was it, right? There was no other lights in the living room?
Yeah, it was just that light.
Yeah, so the four lights in the fan, and then the two lights that shined on the fireplace, that was it. Now we have 4 can lights in the ceiling and 4 lights in our brand new ceiling fan.
Mm-hmm. And then we started to do it into the in the kitchen too. So they took all the lighting out of the kitchen and they put the can lights in the kitchen. And I just feel like it is neater and it looks nicer. And these ones are actually on a dimmer, so that's kind of nice too.
Go hit the dimmer real quick.
And then someone was like, "Do you want us to put trim around the windows?" And I was like, so like we got all new trim, all baseboard.
Look at that. Reset the mood. Oh, what happened? Oh, you turned off the other one.
No, don't do that. Turn
it back on.
Turn it back on, please. You can just leave it like that. It's fine.
There we go.
And so so we basically got a whole new living room, and it was a huge blessing. He could have, done things over time, but
it would probably taken me like 2 years
him forever
to accomplish what they did in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it would have taken him forever. And so it's like the pantry still needs to be done, and there's some trim that needs to be done, and then the kitchen still needs some work, but it'll get done and it's okay. And so,
but things have been kind of crazy hectic. That's why we haven't done we didn't do a show 2 weeks before 4th of July, and then all that happened. We weren't expecting it, so it's kind of been in a bit of disarray. Mm-hmm. So it's like we haven't really, we're trying to get stuff done on Sundays, and so it's like, oh, we're gonna do a show, and it's like, oh, it's like 10 o'clock at night already. It's like I'm tired, and got to go to work the next day, and so we just haven't. But today's kind of just been a relaxing day. We did some more organizing. I got the spare bedroom organized a bit more so we can actually walk in there, because like the cabinets that we took out, we actually saved those, and they're because like we had all that storage space that they were using, and we didn't have anything replaced with it. So like one's down in the hallway and the other one's in the spare bedroom, and so it kind of got things a little bit more organized. We also got a new or a used refrigerator.
It's just a fridge.
It's just a refrigerator. It's a Maytag, just a standalone refrigerator only. It was funny. I was looking at them online at like you can't find them at like Lowe's or Home Depot or anything like that. So there's an appliance store here in Lowell, I think, and I was looking at the ones that are just a like 18 cubic foot or 17 cubic foot, just a refrigerator, and they were like between $900 and $1,100. It's like, man, that's a lot of money. I don't really want to spend, but at the same time we could really use it because with the Rattlers were staying here, and they have they have a baseball team for kids basically. And so they were using our, because they weren't planning on staying as long as they were. It would just work out in their favor with things that they had going on back home in Michigan, that they were able to stay here and let things take care of themselves back in Michigan. So they were using our refrigerator. So it's like their stuff plus our stuff was. It's like I need to get another refrigerator. We just needed one, anyway.
We needed one anyhow.
We needed one,
yeah.
And so I was looking at them, brand new ones online. I'm like, I don't really want to spend that kind of money, but we really kind of do need one. And then the next day on Facebook, one popped up, and I'm like, here we go. And the guy was only asking $100 for it. And I was like, I messaged the guy that night. I'm like, I will take this. I'll come get it tomorrow. This was like a Saturday night. So I messaged him Saturday night. And then Sunday we left the house to go blueberry picking. And I messaged the guy again, and I said, hey, is this thing still available? I'm really interested in it. And he messaged me back, and he said, yeah, there's other people that are interested in it. And I said, dude, I really want this thing. I said, I'll pay you more than you're asking for. And he was asking $100 for it. And then he's like, okay, he says, let me get back to you. And he says, somebody else is offering me $150. I said, I will give you $175. I will come get it today right now. He says, okay, it's yours. And we were like 20 minutes away at the blueberry patch. I'm like,
so we left everybody there, and I brought him home.
She left the Rattlers there, and she brought me back home, and I jumped in my truck and drove there and picked it up from him. It was working good. It started messing up like a week and a half ago.
Something.
It wasn't getting as cold as what it was supposed to get. So we pulled everything out of it, unplugged it, let it sit, plugged it back in. And then I was talking to a friend, Kenny, who's an appliance repairman, and we plugged it back in. It's working great again. So it had it built up too much frost, and like it hadn't defrosted like it was supposed to. Cause like when I moved it, water poured out from underneath it like crazy. The drain tray was full of water. But it might be just the control board hadn't told it to defrost when it was supposed to or something. But we've had it plugged in for a week now. It's working great. So
So we had our 4th of July thing, and then we had this going on, and then the Rattlers were here for.
Lauren said we got together with them and the Peppers this winter, and that was a serious, what's that word? Passel of children altogether.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids. So then the one of the other families that are here that came down, that they moved here, and they're in a camper, and so they're staying here on our property for a while until they find whatever they're looking for, or they figure some stuff out. And they have
a baseball team of kids as well.
So currently right now,
Passel means a whole bunch.
Currently right now, once the Rattlers come back down, we will have 35 people here on the property.
Is it?
It's 35 or 36.
I think it's 34. It's 25 children. 2, 4, 6, 8
9,
adults.
18.
Yeah, 25 children and 8 adults. So 34.
Yeah.
Right? Am I doing my math right?
No, it's 10
33.
adults.
10. 2, 4, 6, 8.
10.
Oh, 10. Right. Sorry. 8 here. Yeah, 10.
I'm like,
my bad.
Dude.
35. So it'll be 35 people.
So once they come back down, we'll have 35 people here. And so it's just a lot. It's been a lot of stuff. And so, well, then we went to a family reunion up in Ohio with Dustin's dad, and that was a lot of fun. It was like last minute decision and to go, but we literally had less. Are we allowed to talk about it now?
I don't know.
I posted stuff on Facebook. I think we can. So hopefully I don't like shove my foot in my mouth, but my father-in-law got remarried, and we absolutely adore her. She is amazing. And she was like, come on. Like, she's like, I want you guys to come. And she's like, don't worry about anything. Just come. We'll ride together. And she is just a hoot. And the best part of all of it is that she's just amazing. That's all I can say. She's just amazing. And we absolutely love her. Eli loves her. And she is the type of mom and person. She radiates joy. Like, she's just, you see her and you instantly get happy. Like, she's just that type of person. And so we went up and we played a little prank on them the first night. And then the second night, she actually toilet papered our room, our hotel, like the door.
Because she couldn't get into our room.
Yeah,
so she took toilet paper and shoved it all in the crack around the door. So we go to open the door and toilet paper falls down on us.
It was so funny. And so the first night, like that next morning, we had left a little note on their door, or we stuck a note underneath their door, and I had done it in handwriting that, like, so my father-in-law wouldn't know that it was me.
It was so good. I read it. I'm like, I don't even recognize this handwriting. I couldn't even tell it was her handwriting. So that way they wouldn't think it was us,
And I was like, we'd appreciate it if you'd keep the noise down tonight. And so she's like, oh my gosh, like, it kind of freaked her out. And then he said to Eli, he was like, so we got this note underneath our door, and Eli busted out laughing, and he's like, yeah, I figured it was y'all. So it was fun. She's just super fun to be around. And yeah.
And then my sister came down from Michigan.
Yeah. So then she was coming down from Michigan, but nobody told her that we were going to be there. And so
they knew my dad was coming, and I told my sister she could have the deer head. She would have a place for it in her house. Yeah, it's gone. Told my sister she could have the deer head. So my stepmom texted Summer and told her, hey, we're bringing you guys a surprise. And then I text my sister because that was the day before her birthday, and I told her happy birthday, and I said we were able to get the deer head to Dad so he could bring it to you. So then my sister,
Marcy, it's gone.
so my sister thought that the surprise that they were bringing was the deer head,
And then I had texted her, and I was like, take lots of pictures for us, and I can't wait to hear what you think about Becky and blah blah blah, and she's like, okay, and so Sunday when they got to the hotel, gave her his dad gave them our room number, and we were across the hall from each other, and so he gave them our room number,
and he was texting Summer, and he told her that he seen him pull up, but then when they came up the hallway, she was like, it seems like he would be on the other side of the hall if he saw us, she's like, well, but maybe she thought she was turned around
or something.
And
so she opened the door. So we opened the door.
I have the video. I could play it. Or did you have the video?
I have the video.
You want to play it?
They opened the door, and
hey, GD.
And
Eli opened the door. We're standing behind Eli, and you got to find it. Her face was priceless, right there.
Oh, it's even gonna have the noise, I think.
Yep. So my dad was right across the hall from us. I think you could see him. They're opening the door there in the background. But yeah, so
it was so much fun, and so
it's okay, Lauren. It's okay about the deer because our living room looks great. It wouldn't have went with how it looks now. And I'm happy that my sister got it and she's able to put it up in her place.
And she likes it.
Yeah,
it's her thing.
And she's got deer. She actually already had deer pictures and stuff hanging up in her house, so it goes with her decor.
So she was super, super excited. And so we had a lot of fun with them. And then we got back. So we got back home. Dustin went right back to work. Well, then a few days later.
Literally, like, we got home at like 3 a.m. Monday morning. And I got up at like 9 o'clock to go to work Monday morning. And I had to turn around and drive back to Indiana. Like, he gave me, he knew I was going to be getting back early in the morning on Monday, so I figured he'd give me a shorter load. Well, one of our drivers came in contact with somebody who had COVID and so he had to quarantine it. So he had this load initially and was supposed to leave on Sunday with it. Well, then, my boss found out, he found out on Sunday that that he had came in contact with COVID. So then my boss found out, I guess, either Sunday evening. So the only person he had available that could take it was me. So then I had to, I left here like 10 o'clock Monday morning and drove as far as I could drive. I think I made it to Evansville, Indiana, I believe, which was a lot further away to drive than what I was initially planning on. I was dog tired by Monday night because I, basically Friday drove all the way to Ohio, and then Sunday I drove from there back to St. Louis, and then she took over driving, and then I had to get up and then drive back from here back to Evansville, Indiana.
Yep. So, well, then a few days later,
make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, by the way.
So then a few days later, we found out that Becky actually tested positive for COVID. And so she works in the hospital, and
there's like 30 people in her department, and like 8 of them had tested positive for it.
And so then
thanks, Lauren.
So then she tested positive, and she's still sick. She's still not doing 100%. And then that following week, so we got back on Monday morning. By Friday, she went to the hospital, and then which they just sent her home, and because there's just really nothing they can do about it. So they sent her home, and then probably like Tuesday, I think, that following Tuesday is when you started to not feel good. And so
I just felt like I had a sore throat was all.
And his only lasted like a day or two. Like, it really wasn't anything. In fact, I didn't even know about it until he got home. And so he came home that Thursday, and he started not feeling good Tuesday. He came home Thursday. He had like a 99.2 fever, not a big deal. And that was literally the only symptom that I knew that he had. And so the next day,
which is not enough to say, hey, I might have COVID. I need to go get
tested or anything. So then,
and with all the people coming out with all the false positives, the people going to get tested, and then their work mandating they get tested, and then they have to go back to work before they even got the test, and then they get test results like, oh, you tested positive, and it's like, how's that possible when I never even got the test? I'm like, I'm not going in and getting tested. It's bull crap.
Yeah. And so
I mean, it was, I had the low grade fever on Friday, and then by Saturday night, I was fine.
He was fine. And so then the following week, I started to feel sick. And then on Thursday, so this is like a week after him, 2 weeks after his stepmom, and a week after him. And I had left. I went to town. I came home. And on the way home, I had stopped and got gas in my for the lawnmower. So I got gas, and it was in the back of my van. And on the way home, gas spilled out in my car. And
the little vent for the, because we bought the gas spouts for the gas can, so it actually has a little vent cap that you pop off so it can get air in and flow faster. Well, the vent cap had popped off, and
It had
so
spilled in the van.
gas spilled out.
And so for like probably 10 minutes, which we had the windows down, but probably for 10 minutes, you know, for the rest of the way home, I was
breathing in strong gas
fumes. And we already know from my testing with Dr.
Alfonso
Monzo, that I have a sensitivity to that type of stuff,
to petroleum products.
And so by the time we got home, my head was pounding, and I just kind of sat down. I was supposed to have another reset with Monzo that day, and so I just like sat down. Eli put everything away, and I started out with a headache. That was at like, I don't know, noon or 1 o'clock or something. And by the night, my body was like starting to ache and they hurt, but we didn't know if it was from the reset or what it was from. Well, then Friday morning, I woke up and I was miserable. And so I'm like, I couldn't do anything. And by Friday afternoon, I had emailed Monzo's assistant, and I talked to her. She said, we actually didn't do your reset yesterday. We got busy, we got behind, so we're going to do it right now. And she kind of thought it was just the pain and the aches and everything was maybe because I needed a reset, and then from the gasoline and everything. And so we didn't think anything about it. And then by Friday night, I was running a high fever, and it's a high fever for me because I typically run about 96. Like I rarely get over 97. And so by then my fever was like 101. It never got over 101.5, I don't think, but it was like 101. And I'm like, and I have never had that much pain through my whole body before. And so Friday night I was miserable, and he had got home at that point, and we still didn't think that it was COVID at that point. We still didn't think that it was COVID. We didn't know what was going on. And but literally even my eyelids hurt. Everything on me hurt. You touched me and I cried. And I was super high tolerance for pain. And I was just like, I'm done with this. Like, if it wasn't for the fact of all the stuff going on with COVID, I probably would have went to the hospital. I was so miserable. And so then Saturday came, and then we had people in and out of the house because of just being here. And so Saturday came, and he's trying to help me. Eli, at this point, we were like, it has to be COVID. It's the only thing that makes sense. And so we're like, Eli, you have to stay away from me. So Eli was staying away from me, and he's trying to help me. And then I had friends bringing food and trying to help, with stuff. And he went to give me a back to put oils on my back, and I just started bawling.
Just doing that.
I just started bawling, and he's like, am I hurting you? And I'm like, I said, yes, but just keep doing it. It doesn't matter. Just do what you got to do. And then he felt bad, and he's like, he didn't know what to do. And so, it was really bad. So then Sunday, I took and got Eli ran me. You were gone. You had to leave for something. And Eli ran me bath water with Epsom salt, baking soda, and some oils. And with the hottest water that he could get it to. And so he came home and helped me get in the tub. And I just like sat in the tub, and I was crying, and he sat next to the tub, and I just was like in a position, and I'm like, I just don't want to move, nothing. And the water was so hot. And I felt my fever break at one point because I started like sweating really bad, and that's really when the pain went away and it stayed away. Like it wasn't as intense. But I wasn't sleeping. I was sleeping like 20 minutes at a time because I hurt so much trying to move and switch, and then I lost any sense of I lost all my sense of taste. And then Teresa told me, she said, get like the strongest oils, like peppermint, breathe, deep blue, anything that's super strong. And she said, try to smell it. And so I'm videoing her and I'm like shoving it up my nose because I couldn't smell anything. And so I'm like, she's like, you have COVID. And which at that point, we kind of figured that I did. And so unfortunately, he had to go back to work. And so he went back to work. But I had people coming in helping, and I was 8 days with a fever, and I was miserable.
Lauren said her sister experienced quite a bit of aching with the fever also.
Yeah, it was super intense. And so I think that I just got like triple whammied. I just had so much stuff. I think I had gasoline poisoning, and I think that I've been detoxing for the last like couple months, and then you added that, and then I also think there's some other stuff, and so I just think I got I just got hit really hard all at once.
Lance said, for me, COVID was like a mild flu combined with a sinus infection, but I'm only 31, so I bounced back pretty quick.
I'm only 33, but
I'm 38 as of yesterday.
It was bad. Him was just a couple days.
I had a sore throat. I felt a sore throat start happening on Tuesday, and I just took On Guard spray and sprayed it in the back of my throat. You know, used it like a sore throat spray, and then I think I had a stuffy nose on Wednesday night, and then Thursday night is when I felt the fever come on. I was, still in my truck. I felt the fever come on, and then it moved from my nose down to my chest. And then Friday is when I had the low grade fever at home. I was in my truck on Thursday. I have no idea what my fever was. It wasn't that high. I felt warm was all. But then I had the low grade, 99.2 fever at home. But then by Saturday night, I was fine again. I still had a lingering cough here and there, which you go into a store and it's like, you want to cough? It's like, I feel bad. Like people are going to yell at me. So.
But it was like, that was one of the other things was that I felt like, so the only way that I could describe it to like him to where he would understand is when I would breathe in, like if you're from Michigan or Indiana, Ohio, wherever it's
North Dakota,
it's any kind of cold, like really cold, or you've been to a place when it's cold and
like
winter
below
time.
0 temperatures.
Yeah. When you walk outside, you take a deep breath or you take a breath and it instantly hits your chest, your lungs, and it's like, whoa. And it kind of like feels like a knife being stabbed in your lungs. That's what it felt like every single time I took a breath. Somebody had walked in. They didn't know that we were sick. And she walked in and she was like, she looked at me and she's like, what's wrong? Because I was completely bundled up like it's winter. And normally I'm not like that. Normally I want it cold. And so it was like, she's like, what is wrong with you? But any kind of air, anything touched my skin, it just hurts. So
Lance,
bad.
I think being out in the sun would be a great thing, honestly. I mean, getting the sunlight and getting the vitamin D. I mean, you don't want to overexert yourself to where your body, your body's then having to work just to maintain itself. But I honestly think, being out in the sunlight would be a good thing for, boosting your immune system.
Yeah. I couldn't do anything. And we had to be careful because I get bronchitis really easily. If I get sick and it gets in my chest, I get bronchitis really easily. And so we didn't know what was going on and I didn't want to go to the hospital, and we can't afford for him to not work. And he was hating being gone. And thankfully I had people here that, made food and made sure that
if it wasn't for the fact that there was people here, I would have been.
Oh yeah. But we had enough help and stuff. And if it would have gotten any worse, he would have came home.
Mm-hmm.
And so So, well, I like back in January, I had got sick, and um and I was in bed for a week, and I had a fever then and stuff, but I still never, like, I've never experienced it where you literally barely touch and it like is like and so, and like I said, I have such a high tolerance for pain that that it was kind of freaking me out, and it freaked him out a little bit because usually I'm just not like that. I'm like, suck it up, deal with it, move on, get better. Like, it's just what it is. So, but it took over a week, and it was about 2 weeks total. And I feel like I'm just now, like, Thursday I was able to go and not get out of breath easily. And I felt better. I felt good enough to like do something. And then Friday I went with you, and
Wednesday was our anniversary.
Wednesday was our anniversary. And he had to work, so he wasn't home.
But I got back Thursday night, and then I just had a local, because I had to leave on Sunday this past week and go up to Southwest Wisconsin for a load. Normally I don't go that far, but they weren't able to sell that load out, so I left Sunday morning. And so then I asked to be back home, because originally I was supposed to have a new guy starting, and I was supposed to be back Wednesday to start training the new guy on Thursday. Well, then that new guy backed out or whatever, so I wasn't able to get home for our anniversary like the original plan was the week prior.
It's just what it is. It's part of our life, you know.
But so she went with me on Friday for work, and then after, it was just a short little local run, and then afterwards
went to dinner. Went to lunch.
Yeah, went to brunch really.
Yeah.
No, not so brunch. It was between a late lunch, I guess.
Yeah, dinner. But we spent the whole day together, and that was nice, and so it was definitely needed. What?
I was just thinking about you laying in the bunk when I was out strapping down the load and unstrapping the load.
I was tired. I was like, I'm laying down.
I should tell the story about me getting stalked through the parking lot in Texas.
We already did that. We talked about that.
No, we haven't talked about that on here.
I think so.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
because we were talking.
It's been a crazy
couple months.
Yeah, it's been a crazy few months.
Yeah, because our last show was in June, and I think they instituted that law in July. So in Texas, back at the beginning of July, they made it mandatory that inside all public establishments you had to have a mask on. So I had to go down to South Texas. I stopped at a truck stop in North Texas, got fuel, and I went inside. And they're like, "Sir, you have to have a mask on." I said, "No, I don't." They're like, "Yeah, it's state law. You have to have a mask on." I said, "I have a medical condition." They're like, "You still got to have a mask on." I'm like, "Whatever. No, I don't. I know your state laws." But just to oblige them, I did this. I walked around like somebody farted the whole time I was in there. And then I come up to the counter, and the lady was like, "You're the one with the medical condition?" I'm like, "Yep." She was like, "Okay." So paid for my stuff, left, and then drove through Texas, got to South Texas, got to a truck stop for the night. And this truck stop, they have a lot of paid parking. And so I found a spot where it wasn't, where it was, free parking, because there's like some truck stops that have reserved sections. And this place was kind of confusing. I'd never parked there before. And it's like these sections said they were reserved parking. There's other ones that weren't. So I found a spot where I could park for free. And went inside. I was just going to go in, use the restroom, come right back out. Walked in without a mask on, and lady behind the counter was like, "Sir, sir, sir." I ignored her, because I'm like, my name's not sir. Why do I have to acknowledge her? She could be talking to somebody else. So I'm making a beeline across the store to get to the bathroom, and they have armed security guards there. And the guy stops me. He's like, "Sir, you have to have a mask on in here." I said, "No, I don't. I have a medical condition." And he's like, "What?" And I kept walking, and I turned and I said, "I have a medical condition," which they can't ask you what your medical condition is. And I mean, there's several different things it could be. Do I technically have a medical condition, a diagnosed medical condition? No. But if I wear a mask, I have a hard time breathing, and a deprivation of oxygen is a bad medical condition to have. So in a sense, I have a medical condition. Do I have a diagnosed medical condition? No, I don't. But you can't look at somebody and know if they're asthmatic or have COPD or anything like that. So I'm going to use that to my advantage because I'm not going to walk around with a mask on. So I walked in, went pee, walked back out, walked straight through the store, didn't make any eye contact. And right before I got to the door, one of the lady goes, I know you heard me and you ignored me. I walked right out the door. Now I walked out and walked in front of the fuel islands and walked towards where my truck was parked. And how this was is like they have a main aisle that trucks will drive through when they leave the fuel islands, and there's parking on the left, there's parking on the right. And then when you get to the end, you can go left or right, and you go around, and then there's parking all along the outside, and then there's parking on the left. So like if I was go through that middle section, there's trucks that are backed in to each other. So their noses are facing out, one's facing towards the main aisle, one's facing towards the outside aisle. So it's like that on both sides. So you have 2 rows of trucks parked like this to the left of the main aisle, and 2 rows of trucks parked like this, and then trucks all the way around the outside edge. So I walked past the trucks on the right side, and I'm parked over on the left side. Turn past the first truck, and I happen to look back over my shoulder. Here comes the armed security guard and one of the cashiers from Flying J. I'm like, I wonder if they're following me. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to my truck now. So I walked I was on the opposite side of my truck. I walked past my truck, glanced over my shoulder once. Yep, they're still coming my direction. So I got clear down to the end where I either have to go straight into where there's trucks parked in the back row, which I'm not, or turn left or turn right. Now, if I turn left, they have a natural gas pumping station there for natural gas trucks. So I'm like, okay. I stopped in the corner, turned and looked because I don't want to step out in front of a truck, and turned left towards the natural gas pumping stations. Turned left and walking across, and I looked back over my shoulder. They're still coming my direction. I'm like, they are following me. So I'm walking past the tanks for the natural gas pumps there, and pulled my phone out. And I called her, and I started talking to her, and I told her what's going on. And then I stop on the corner, like they have a fence set up for these tanks. I stop on the corner. Here they come. Both of them walk right past me, and they go off over to the left, and they're about maybe 30 yards from me, just standing in the middle of the parking lot while I'm standing there talking on my phone. Now I turned, so I'm like this, so I could see them out of the corner of my eye, but I'm not making direct eye contact with them. And the lady's out, and she's like, got her phone out like this, like she's taking pictures of me or whatever. And I'm talking to her the whole time, and I'm like, I'm just going to keep talking. Now they know your condition doesn't exist. Here come the men in black. So I kept talking to her, and I'm like, I'm going to stand here and till it gets awkward for them to be, in this parking lot. So I talked to her the whole time, and finally they walked up by the natural gas fueling stations there. And then they could kind of see me through the tanks, and I kind of moved so that I could see them still out of the corner of my eye. Then they went up into the main aisle, and a car pulled up that had tinted windows. They talked to the person in the car, and then they walked back towards the store. Then the car pulled to the end and parked across from me on the other side of the main aisle.
Totally agree, Lauren.
What'd Lauren say?
She said, what gets me is that every news story is talking about unmasked people harassing masked people. But I've literally never heard a real story of anything except the masked police harassing people.
Yep. So anyway, this car is parked where it's back of the vehicle is facing towards me, but it's maybe again 30 yards away. I'm like, I wonder if they're watching me through the mirror, looking out their back window and watching me. So I walked past the tanks and walked towards the natural gas fill-up station. The car whips around and drives through the main section so it can see me, goes down to the end and turns around and comes back again. So I'm standing there talking to her on the phone. I'm just kind of pacing back and forth, walking back and forth. I was
so annoyed.
And then the car parked again where it could see me. And I'm like, okay, I need to try to see if I can make it towards my truck. So again, remember the trucks are parked where they're backed in towards each other. Well, where I parked, there was actually a bobtail behind me. A bobtail is a truck with no trailer on. So I walked between all the trucks, the backs of the trucks, walked in behind my truck and just kind of paced around behind the bobtail. Well, that car came through the main aisle and turned around again so I could see where I was at. So I walked back out again towards the natural gas station, and I just kept walking back and forth. And this car is having to try to keep up with me going back and forth. So finally it parked where I don't know if they could see me or not. So it parked down there because I got tired of running back and forth. So then I walked back towards my truck again. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up the passenger side of my truck and try to get in my truck. So I walked up the passenger side of my truck. But I'm like, they might be able to see my legs underneath the trailer. So I got up to where between my truck and my trailer, there's the catwalk. So I stepped up in there because the fairings that hang down on the side of my truck hang down far enough that you couldn't look underneath my truck and see my feet. So they would lose sight of me if I was walking. So I stepped in there and I waited like 2 minutes while I was talking to her. And something told me, like, I was wearing my black cadet hat. I'm like, something tells me they're queuing in on my black cadet hat. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take my hat off. So then took my hat off, went out and unlocked the passenger side door and climbed in the truck with my hat off, threw my hat, on the floor. Got in the truck, kept my butt facing towards the windshield, and moved a couple things around because that car could, potentially see me, and moved a couple things around, then stepped into the sleeper, took my shirt off, and then turned around and closed my curtains. And then I went and got into my pajamas, just a wife beater shirt and gym shorts. And then I laid in the bunk, and then she messaged me in Marco Polo. She's like, "Did you make it in the truck?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm in here." And she's like, "What are you going to do if they come knocking on the truck?" I said, "I'm just going to ignore them." I said, "I'm in a town where I don't know anybody. There's nobody that should be knocking on my truck for anything. And if they are knocking on my truck, they're there to cause trouble or looking for company, and none of that stuff, So
Cassie said that.
So I'm like, I'm like, legitimately, I've seen truck drivers pull into a spot, park their truck. Somebody comes in a car and picks them up, and they take off and go somewhere, and they go something to eat, and they come back, hours later. One of our drivers does that in our yard, in Siloam. He'll park his truck there, and his brother or somebody comes and picks him up, and they go out to eat, and then he brings them back. So it's like, legitimately, there could be a truck parked there and nobody be in the truck. So I'm like, I'm just going to ignore them. While I'm telling her this, I knock on the door. So I'm like, oh, great crap. They probably could have heard me talking, so I can't just pretend like I'm not in here. So I get up, I swing the curtain open, and there's a JB Hunt, a Flying J employee. I roll the window down, and it's not one of the ones that I saw before. And the guy says, "Do you have a hat?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Do you have a hat?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? Do you need a hat or something?" And he's like, "Do you wear a hat?" I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "I wear hats all the time. I got all kinds of hats." And he's like, looks at my truck. He's like, "JB Hunt," and he walks away. And that was it. They didn't bother me the rest of the night. So then the next morning I left, went and did my delivery, and I needed to get fuel and get coffee. I'm like, I could either go back to that one or I can drive 2 hours north. By that point, it'd be like noon. I'm like, I don't want to wait till noon to get coffee. Man, there's chats going crazy.
They're talking about your hat.
Dustin's telling his espionage story. So I decided I'm gonna go back there, but if I go inside to get my coffee, I'm gonna wear a mask, right? So I go in, I get my fuel, and I have one of the anonymous masks. So I put the anonymous mask on. Now it's got eye holes, it's got nose holes, and it's got a mouth hole. So it does nothing for their COVID stuff. So I walk in with that on, and it's all white. Y'all know what it looks like. And walk over, get my coffee, and I stand in line, and then it gets to be my turn to go up there. And the lady looks at me, and she's like, "I thought you were here to take our registers, their tills with all their money in it." And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, after what y'all put me through yesterday, I should take your registers, but I'm not going to do that, obviously. So then while I'm standing there paying for my stuff, there was somebody behind me in line. The other was like, "Sir, you have to have a mask on." He does this. She's like, "Nope, a t-shirt won't work. You have to have a mask." And then she looks at me and goes, "Apparently any kind of mask will work." And I'm like, "You're darn right, any kind of mask will work, because that's all your state says." So left there, didn't have any more issues in Texas. Now I was back in Texas. I hadn't been there in quite a while, actually. I was back in Texas this week. Went into the first one that gave me issues. They still have all the signs up that say mask required, but apparently Texas has changed their rules now. And because before they said they wouldn't serve you if you didn't have a mask on. Oh, actually, I went back to that one in North Texas once before. I went in with my mask on, and there was people, like 6 people in line. There was a woman that didn't have a mask on. She was wearing like a spaghetti strap shirt, and the lady was like, "Ma'am, you have to have a mask on." She's like, "I just need to pay for gas on the pump." She's like, "I'm sorry, but I can't wait on you if you don't have a mask on." So she goes like this. She pulls her shirt up like this. She's like, "No." She said, "You can't just pull your shirt up. You have to have something around your face." So this lady had 2 shirts on. So she pulls the one shirt off and wraps it around her face. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they're making her go through this, But it's like, it's how crazy it is that the stuff that they're going through. But so I went back there this past week, no issues. Went in without a mask. Nobody said nothing. They don't care. The employees are wearing masks, but nobody else cares. So
it's so stupid.
So
it's so dumb. We get told when we go to Walmart. Every time we went to Walmart, we get told, you got to have a mask. I said, actually, I don't. Yes, you have to have a mask. Actually, I don't. Medical. As soon as I say medical, they back off.
Actually, here in Arkansas, the way the governor said things, it's actually they can't enforce the rules that they set in place because they're not allowed to detain you for wearing a mask. And the moment, or sorry, for not wearing a mask. And the moment they try to stop you, but they can give you a warning. Well, in order for them to give you a warning and actually have it on record, they gave you a warning. They have to stop you and detain you to get your information. And then they can't stop you and detain you for the mask thing. So all you have to do is walk away from them. And I got this information from a coworker of mine whose dad is the city chief of police in the city he's from. I'm not going to say where they're from, but he's the chief of police. And he told his son, he's like, look, we can't enforce this law. He's like, Governor Hutchinson shot himself in the foot. And so this driver tried this in Springdale. He went into one truck stop and they said, you can't be here without a mask. He's like, yes, I can. And just to calm him down, he left. But a Springdale cop chased him out the door, said, you got to have a mask on. And he told him, no, I don't. And then he went through and told him everything his dad told him. And the cop's like, I've never heard this before. And he says, go check it out. And then a cop from other town, Cave Springs, showed up and said, what's going on? And then the first cop told the second cop everything. And the cop's like, yeah, he's right. He says, we can't detain him for this. They said we can't, so there's nothing we can do about it.
So stupid. The only ones that I will give grace to, and I actually will put on a mask, is if we go eat somewhere. And that's because it's a restaurant. If the health department come in, they can actually get fined. And it's not their fault that people are idiots. And so it's just what it is. But I'm not going to fault you if you wear one, but don't fault me if I choose not to wear one, because I was wearing one and I still got sick. And after that whole thing, he was getting mad at me because I was wearing one. He's like, no, you don't need to be wearing one. And so now I'm like, I don't even care. So Thursday, when I went back to town, I'm like, I'm just not doing it because I wasn't wearing one and I still got sick. But
yeah, I mean, you're right. You don't have to wear a mask. You tell them you can't wear one. What are they going to do? How are they going to know if you're asthmatic or not? Asthmatics can't wear a mask. So, and if you say you're an asthmatic, you can't wear a mask, and they try to press the issue, they're going to violate the HIPAA regulations to make you prove you're an asthmatic. So they're in a conundrum one way or another, however you look at it.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So when we went out to eat, the lady said, do you guys have masks? And we're like, yes. She's like, can you put them on? And I said, I can. I said, but I do have a question for you. I said, I have to wear the mask from here till I get to my table. And once I get to my table, I can take it off, right? She says, well, technically, you have to wear it until your drinks show up. I said, okay. I said, so let me ask you. I said, do you think that this COVID is such a smart virus that it knows when I'm walking from here to my table, and it knows when I get my drinks, and so it's not going to attack me after I get my drinks, and that's the only reason why I have to wear the mask? She says, I don't even believe in the virus. She says, but the health department will fine us and can shut us down if we don't require people to wear masks. I said, okay. I said, thank you for that. I just wanted to ask. I said, I just want to see where you stand on the matter. I said, if you didn't know, I was going to share some truth with you, but I said, apparently you know truth. So I'm totally fine with that. Put the mask on. And she says, if you guys want to sit outside, you can take the mask off as soon as you're out the door. I'm like, sweet, let's sit outside then. So
that's exactly
we sat out in the patio, took the mask off as soon as we got outside. So.
And it was nice outside anyway.
It was very nice.
This summer has been so weird. I mean, so normally for us, like our garden and stuff, changing subject, normally about July, our cucumbers are like done. They're done. And because it's just too hot. And usually we get a ton of peppers, like jalapenos and stuff because they like the heat. This year, our cucumbers are still going strong. We barely got any peppers. We didn't get.
I
Any
like
zucchini.
what you told your company there, Lance.
We didn't get any zucchini at all. We got some squash, but like all of our cooler plants are like going strong still. It has not been over 100 yet in Arkansas, which is totally strange because normally August is our hottest month and it's crazy, and it hasn't got over 100 at all. Yep. I think it's going to be a cold winter. I think it's going to be a cold Sukkot.
The Farmer's Almanac says it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I totally think it's going to be a cold Sukkot.
Sydney says whatever about it not being hot. It was 115.
It has not in August. Normally in August. In July it got a couple days where it was hot. But and I'm saying in August, usually you have most of August, it is like
she says it was 115 when they were here.
90s to 100, and it's not been. It hasn't been. So, in fact, we've had a couple nights where it was down in the 50s.
The floor is Rona. Y'all remember when a couple years ago when Hawaii had volcanoes going off and there was lava and everything? I made a meme that said Hawaii was the 2018 Flores Lava Champions. But anyway.
That's been our summer. It's been busy. Crazy.
Yep. There's a few more things to do here in the house to have everything kind of squared away.
A lot more than a few. But
trim. Well, there's the trim, the shelves in the pantry.
Kitchen painted.
Oh, yeah, the kitchen painted.
The floor is done.
But I look at the kitchen being painted as a whole new project being started.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like what has been started already to get finished.
Yeah, we just got finished the pantry and the trim.
And once we get the pantry finished up, we can put all the food and stuff back in there and kind of get that organized a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep.
But we have 2 refrigerators now and 2 freezers. We have an upright freezer and a chest freezer. Oh, we forgot we got a half beef. That's the other thing. Yeah. So we have a freezer full of beef. That's nice. We went in with my dad and got a cow butchered or steer.
Yep. Oh, and our German Shepherd's
pregnant.
Is going to have babies.
We're going to be having puppies middle of September, more likely.
Yep. So he's got to build me a box. And at first she was super timid about coming in the house because she's used to being outside. And now she's like, hey, I'm all about it.
She didn't like the floor. Before the floor got painted, it was slick. She didn't like it. She was scared of it. But now that it's been painted, she doesn't mind it. So we'll be having puppies a few weeks before Sukkot. So they'll be ready of middle of November. So we should be able to maybe try to sell them as Christmas puppies.
Yeah. And so, but she's so cute. She's 1 and she's been around a lot of kids, but she hasn't been around like a whole lot because they're in the backyard and they have their space and stuff. And we try to keep, them like, I want the kids to socialize with them, but I also want the kids to not like be back there bugging them and stuff. And so today, Melissa and them was over here with their 2 babies and with their 4 kids, but they have 2 little ones. And I think JoJo's 2 and Nova's 1. And they literally, Nova, she's only 1. She like literally sat on top of her and she didn't do anything. She was like this. Nova was like bouncing, and Daisy kind of turned and looked at her. And then as soon as Nova started to get up, then Daisy got up and just walked away. And so, and then they were like all up on her face and stuff, and she didn't do anything. She was just like sitting there, like whatever. And then she was sitting with Melissa, and she was falling asleep. And
who was Daisy or Melissa?
Daisy was sitting with Melissa and she was falling asleep, and the kids opened up the door to go outside. As soon as she saw them go outside, she jumped up, She went over to the window, her ears went straight up, and she was like looking. She's like, where are these kids at? Why did they leave? And she just sat there until they came back in the house. And so I think she's been super good.
Yeah, ours are black and tans.
She was really good with them today. It's really the first time that she's spent more than like 5 or 10 minutes with little tiny kids. And so she did good with them.
She did good.
I think she's gonna be a good mama.
I think so too.
Gina said my pup's ready in 2 weeks. Yeah, she has Dalmatians.
They really will be ready in 2 weeks?
Yeah, they're already like 3 or 4 weeks old.
You gotta wait till they're 8 weeks old.
Well, they're going to the well, they might. I think they might be. I don't know. I don't remember when she had them. But yeah.
But they're little chunky monkeys.
My German Shepherds are black and white.
You don't have German Shepherds, Gina.
We love German Shepherds.
We both had them growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that, you know, in a couple of years, maybe we can get an all-white female and then have her bred with Max. Kind of, you know, spread out, you know, the bloodline a little bit. Because eventually we want to be able to take one of our pups and, you know, like you have a male that's going to replace Max as the stud. But we can't. You don't want to take one of, you know,
their puppies.
Yeah, one of, you know, one
legally you can, or you can, but
yeah,
I don't want to do that.
We don't want to breed a son back to the, you know, back to the mom. So if we have another female, we get a male from him. That male could then, I guess, breed into Daisy and add a different bloodline there. That way.
Yeah, that's what they're going to the back to the breeder.
Oh, okay.
Or not back to the breeder, but they're going to the breeder.
Right.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's road trip time.
I think it would be nice, like when we're like done breeding Daisy, is to find somebody that has a wolf and get her bred by a wolf and have half wolf, half German Shepherd pups.
No. Nope, she's mine, and I say no.
Okay, guess I'll be finding a white female and have her done with her then. So is there anything else we want to talk about tonight? For not doing a show for 2.5 months, it's surprising it's only an hour long, getting everything all caught back up again.
Nope. Is there anything anybody else wants to talk about?
Oh, that's cool. Avalanche. That'd be a cool name for an all-white one. I had a cousin that had an all-black one and an all-white one, and he would breed them and get black and tans out of them, which is odd because you'd think you'd get black and sables, you know, out of that mix. So were yours long hair? I'm guessing they were short hair, right? Not the long-haired ones. Thank you, Amy.
Feels weird to be back in front of the camera.
Right.
I've been I have a video, an update for the MTHFR stuff, but it was before I got sick and he just hasn't. I haven't.
You never sent it to me?
No. And so it's on my phone. It's on my Google. I just haven't sent it. So I need to do another update. I'm actually going to start tomorrow back on my supplements because with everything I stopped taking it. Because it was too much. I was taking so much stuff to feel better. So I'm going to restart tomorrow. I'm going to be stricter with my food.
The only other things we got coming up is getting geared up for Sukkot.
Yep. Well, and puppies.
Puppies, geared up for Sukkot, finishing the projects inside the house.
Mm-hmm. And then tearing down the garden and maybe getting the fall garden going. Getting it ready for next year. This year has been so weird, but it also feels like it's went really fast. It's almost September. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Again, make sure if you haven't hit that thumbs up. We got 6 thumbs up and 13 people watching. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't get that far over. I generally stay within a 600-mile radius of here. So, Nashville, Tennessee is about the farthest east that I go. And
Did
maybe down to
Gypsy go outside
Mississippi.
too? Is Gypsy out there with him too? Are you keeping him out there all night? Maybe you'll get some sleep. Puppies are like having babies, but having like 50 of them
Or
at once.
6 or 8 or 9.
Yeah.
See, we can't wait till you guys get back down here.
Oh, if you haven't noticed.
New couch.
We also got
and recliner. That recliner is my recliner.
We got the table and stuff today. I'm excited.
Yep. And a TV stand.
Yeah. It's all used for us, but it's going to look good once it's all put together.
Mm-hmm. Our kitchen table now can easily, comfortably seat 6 for sure.
We can put 2 more. We can fit 8.
Yeah. Maybe 10 if they were little ones.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you need to sleep, girl.
Who needs sleep?
I think I do.
So, well, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
No? Okie dokie.
Hopefully we'll get back at it.
Try to get back in the swing of doing it every week again.
Maybe.
Until Sukkot rolls around.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to. I can't wait for Sukkot. Mainly because I get you for 10 whole days. You took an extra day, a couple days off.
Yeah, because it starts on a Wednesday night and it ends on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Thursdays, yeah. So Thursday night it would be over. That'd be the end of the high holy day. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go back to work for one more day. I'm just gonna take, that day off. And I have the PTO hours to be able to do it. I'll have like 56 hours of PTO by that point. So I'll be able to use 40 for that whole week and then the other 16 for the week prior. Yeah. Those 2 days. So
I'm excited for that because that's when we get, family time and stuff in a little bit, kind of. And then people that are.
Who won the card game? The guys won the card game last night,
It's not
Jeremy.
over. So
it's over.
No.
I already wrote on there. There was the winners, which was the guys, and the losers, which was the girls. We only ever played 2 rounds.
They cheated.
We did not cheat. We just caught you guys with more points in your hand than what you did with us the first time.
They cheated.
Hey, Eli, Sydney said Sophie says hi. So, well,
yep, Sukkot is around the corner.
We can't wait.
I can't wait because I get to hug Tara. She's gonna be there.
It's gonna be interesting this year because
it's mostly locals.
Mostly locals, yeah. There's I think 5 or 6 families that are not that we know of. There's some other ones coming from Michigan that we don't have a count on.
That's right. And if we don't win, they cheated.
As her dad taught her, if you're the one keeping score and you lose, it's your own fault. So, by her own admittance, she's cheating when it comes to the scorekeeping.
I didn't. Y'all have more points than us.
Remember the first round?
Yes, and the Turners are coming too. Haha, I just now remembered that.
Yes, you guys are coming. But you guys have been there before. We were talking about families that have never been there before, like it's their first time.
There's a lot. Well, there's quite a few families that are coming that live here now but haven't been. So
right.
It'll be interesting this year.
Yeah,
euchre.
We
Y'all know how to play euchre.
We can totally have a euchre tournament.
Yes.
The Turners, do you guys know how to play euchre? Lauren, do you know how to play euchre?
They have to know how to play. And while everybody else is going, what the heck is euchre? Dun 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 dun.
Super rusty. That's okay.
That's all right.
So's
Tara.
Not Williams.
Yeah.
But, Adams.
We should totally play.
Yeah, we could.
The Adams know how to play too.
Yeah.
I think we tried to teach Gina and Philip, and it didn't go well. I think we tried to teach other people too.
It'll come right back to you, Lauren. It's no biggie.
It's a hard game to try to explain.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's a hard game to explain to people that's not from Michigan.
Or Ohio or Indiana, I think. Anything further south of that, and they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Hand and foot. I like hand and foot.
Oh, Josh and Mel, they're in for euchre.
They know how to play too. Yes, they're from Michigan, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you.
Pinochle? I don't know.
Oh, I know how to play Pinochle. I like Pinochle. I do like Pinochle, but
Does Sensitive Hair know how to play euchre? She just said eek.
You just want to be on my team for euchre.
Whatever.
And you don't want to be on his dad's team.
My dad went for a loner and got set twice. How you pulled that off, I don't know. He just takes risks.
He's goofy.
Yeah.
I think he does it on purpose.
So,
Tara, do you guys know how to play? She can play Uno.
My right and left bowers would get totally confused. Your right bower is of the suit that is trump. Your left bower is of the other colored suit that's not trump. So if spades is trump, your jack of spades is your right bower, and your jack of clubs is your left bower.
I never looked at it like that. I mean, I don't ever call it right or left. I'm just like, you have your big and
bower
your little.
And your little bower.
Yeah, that's how we've always done it.
Left.
I know. I've just never. Yeah. When you'd say you're right or left, I never could figure out which one was what.
Yeah.
It was always just that your big bower and your little bower.
Yeah.
No, Amy. When we were talking about the cheating, we were talking about hand and foot.
Well, they can't cheat a hand and foot either.
No, but none of us cheat at hand and foot. None of us cheat. We just like to pick on each other. I love playing euchre. I like playing cards. Any cards.
See, I like playing board games.
I know, we're opposite. I do like playing Catan, though.
Yeah, I do like Catan. I think we're going to try to get an expansion for it, maybe.
Mm-hmm. We need a whole bunch of them. The women do not cheat. Ever.
That's right, Philip. They do.
Mm-hmm.
Last night when we played the first hand, we had the exact same score, other than y'all had one more book than us, I think, or two more. You had two more dirty books than us.
We had 500 points.
500 points more? That was 600.
400, maybe
600.
Yeah.
No, 500.
No, that's not possible.
We had 46. You had 5,000, I think.
Yeah. We had 400 points more than you.
Right, because you had one more dirty book, and you had the 100-point bonus for going out. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But we both had 1,050 in points in our cards in our books.
She said she can play Uno.
We could teach her dirty Uno.
Yeah. I like Catan, and I like hand and foot. And I like euchre. I like spades.
Lauren, does Ben play
like
Catan
cards.
on his phone? Does he have the Catan app?
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a Catan kick. I've been playing.
I kicked
on
your
my phone.
butt the other night. I came out of nowhere. I was like, bam! I win.
Whatever. That's how you do at Risk, too. Tara said she said eek to Cassie hugs.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give Lauren a hug, too.
Who are you, woman? Giving all these people hugs?
Just my people.
Just your people. Well, folks, I'm waiting for her to say if Ben plays on his phone.
Kind of tired.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go to bed?
Yeah.
You can't play Catan anymore. Your dining room chairs won't make. We got new dining room chairs.
If he breaks these ones, I'm gonna beat the snot out of him.
Right? I just can't laugh and lean back in the chairs. I broke one of our dining room chairs. Something happened, and I laughed, and I leaned back like this. Well, normally, when I lean back, the whole chair leans back. Well, this time it didn't happen. This is the base of the chair. This is the back. I leaned back, and normally it would go like this. Nope. The back went.
We thought he put a hole in the wall. I was like, well, it's a good thing it's going down anyway.
Turned that chair into a stool. You should, Lauren. You should. I think Ben has a smartphone. You should tell him to look for the Catan Universe app.
We need to buy a bunch of cards for Sakote.
Yeah. Oh, and the for those who are not down here, the pavilion looks amazing out there. Tim did an amazing job. There's lighting in it, the whole 9 yards, and so we'll have a generator, so we'll be able to light the whole thing up. And Zach's like, this will work really good for Mafia. It'll be all lit up and everything. So, but we were out there yesterday for Shabbat. So, what?
Lauren, oh great, his eyes just lit up. It is so pretty. And I'm so glad they went with yellow. That's what Jamie wanted. She knew it wasn't feasible, so she would have never had the outside of the house that way, but that was what she always wanted, was a yellow house.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty.
Okie dokie. We are going to call it quits for the night. If you haven't already, again, make sure you give us that thumbs up. And if you enjoyed this show and you think your friends would thumbs up. I'd rather have thumbs up than thumbs down. But if you enjoyed this show and you think your friends would enjoy this show, share this on social media, wherever, Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, I don't care. We're going to call it quits for tonight. Hope you all have a good night. Hope you all have a good week, and come back next week. We'll try to be here, hopefully. Do we have anything planned for next weekend? We're going to going over there, but I don't think we have anything planned for Sunday.
Nope.
So,
no, well, it might help your dad. That's it. Shalom,
Brooke and Jeremy.
We'll be back
next week. Same time, same place?
Yep. Probably the same time, 9 o'clock Central. I think that's a good time.
Yeah, I think so too. So, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.